Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Chelsea. You know that, I know that. Let's get into it. Now, this topic that we're discussing today is Colleen Ballinger, who is a OG YouTuber, let's call her. And although as of today, Saturday, June 17th at around 2:44 p.m. Eastern Time, Colleen has not come out with a statement regarding all of this controversy, and there have been more updates and more people coming out and talking about it. I just wanted to be able to get my video out so that then from there I can have something to reference and then also make update videos as well. So I don't want to be that type of person that's like, I'm waiting till there's more updates, because there's gonna continue to be a lot more updates, it seems like. So let's go ahead and get into a bit of background, some controversy, what has happened, some other players in this entire situation, my opinion as well. As my disclaimers at the beginning of my video and in the description box always say, this is all my opinion. I'm not stating any of this as fact. A lot of this is anecdotal evidence as well. There are screenshots, there are receipts, there's video recordings as well. So take that as you will. This is basically my please don't sue me disclaimer. But hey, if it's the truth or you say it yourself, it's not defamation, all right? So during this video, I will be going over a lot of information, reading off screenshots to you, reading off other information to you as well. And so I actually do need to get like ready. So not to like pull a Bailey Sarian while talking about something serious, but I am gonna be getting ready instead of just sitting here because I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of batch filming to do still. So my schedule is very tight, very toit like a toiger, and I am literally 9 months pregnant right now. So, and of course, if you want to know what products I'm using, I will have them in the description box below. And you will most likely hear my bulldog snoring because he's sitting right here, laying down, just snoozing away. Colleen Ballinger is a 36-year-old YouTuber, actress, singer, and writer best known for her character Miranda Sings. Since April 2009, Ballinger has performed a one-woman comedy act as Miranda Sings in cabaret-like spaces and later in theaters in New York, London, and other cities across the US, UK, Australia, Europe, Canada, and elsewhere. Currently, as I'm making this video, she is on tour. In these shows, Miranda sings, does some musical theater songs in her signature off-key style, does quick changes, interacts with the audience, and gives voice lessons, acting lessons, obviously in a satirical manner. In her 2014 self-help tour, she instructed mostly young female audience on how to get a boyfriend and being more Miranda-like. She would improvise with volunteers, which we will go over in a minute, but she would interact with them in quite inappropriate ways. Now, like I said, Colleen. Like I said, Colleen has been on the internet for, years, like 15 years at this point. And you can say all day long, well, oh, the humor was different back then. Was it, or was it just more socially acceptable for her young audience to have absolutely no sense of what good comedy is and thinking that these type of crass things are actually funny when they're not? And that's actually something that I've talked about in live streams and on my platform too, is a big problem that influencers, content creators can have is when their audience is not their same demographic and their audience is primarily, let's say, a lot younger than them, like Colleen's clearly is. Keep wanting to call her Miranda. Jake Paul, I think, has this problem as well. Shane Dawson, I think, had this problem as well. And what'll happen is instead of your audience growing with you and growing through life with you, and your life changes too, and your sense of humor and societal norms and societal changes, when your audience is literal children, they'll think everything you do is funny. Kids are dumb. That comes from someone who was a child once, so it's okay for me to say that. But kids are dumb. They think a lot of things are funny and they're not. Have you seen YouTube comments from children? They're completely idiotic. But a lot of times what can happen is when you are constantly being told, or rather getting the feedback, that your content is hilarious and it's so funny, and oh, this joke is landing so well, you're such a good writer, you're such a funny comedian, Miranda Sings is hilarious. She's not hilarious, it's not funny at all, and we'll get into that in a moment too. But when you're getting this feedback from people and thinking, oh my gosh, this is funny, this is landing, this is going great, you're gonna keep doing these types of comedy acts and jokes that are really uncomfortable and really aren't funny. Now let's get into the Miranda Sings character of it all. So Miranda, when you watch the character, clearly someone that has cognitive or delays or is developmentally disabled, however you want to phrase that, however is an appropriate way to phrase that where you live, okay? But it's clear. Now, I've always been uncomfortable or kind of weirded out by the fact that it's not that, oh, someone with a disability can't be funny. Someone with a disability can't be a comedian. No, that's not the point. It's that someone who is completely able-bodied or able-minded, a term? Probably not. But someone who doesn't have any of those afflictions or hiccups, if you will, is putting on it's a character. And like that and whole entire like gist of it, like her not being able to understand things or her not being self-aware and her being socially awkward. That's the joke of it all. And that's always like not sat right with me. That's always been a little bit weird to me. And you can say all day long, well, they had a Netflix show and, it was really popular. I watched it, and honestly, the only parts that I thought were funny were the other actors, and that's it. Another two things that I find uncomfortable about the Miranda Sings character is that allegedly she created the character pulling inspiration from someone who is disabled that she knows from her personal life. So like that's extra messed up too. And then also further than that, she has allegedly stated that in an interview that she created the character to be able to say things that she wouldn't be able to say. So as like a shield to her own like messed up sense of humor, I guess. Because she can always be like, oh, it wasn't Colleen that said it, that was Miranda. And it's like, girl, it's you. It's not two different personalities. It's you. And we could even look at the argument of, well, oh, think of an actor and they're playing a character who, says the N-word all the time, or like their character is racist. Do we need to cancel that actor? Well, no, but also it's completely different because Colleen is the one who created this character for herself, seemingly so that she can make all these crude and inappropriate and weird jokes. It's very strange. I personally do think that she has grown out of it and that she doesn't personally like doing the character anymore, but she has made so much money with it, and I don't think that people actually find her, Colleen, appealing, and so she can't really get away from the Miranda Sings character, and she can't stop doing the Miranda Sings character. Because if it was like just her type of content on YouTube, like I don't think anyone would watch that. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Miranda content does way better than Colleen Ballinger content, and that's even if she is exploiting her children and trying to become a family vlogger, which that's a whole nother aspect of her exploiting your kids online. Why don't we just add that to the pile? Now, Colleen has said and done a lot of things that are gross, not only as the Miranda Sings character, but as herself without using the Miranda Sings character to shield her from accountability. So in I think it was a Q&A video that Colleen had done with her ex-husband maybe, or like one of her best friends. Her ex-husband's name is Josh, and they had a very public divorce. It was weird. They invented to their underage fans, like their fandom was basically like their mediation during their divorce, and it's extremely inappropriate, and I don't understand how these 30-year-olds don't like get it. It's so weird. But they were doing a Q&A, and the way that Colleen, and you'll see it in a second, but the way that she talks about this instance and starts like laughing about it is absolutely unhinged. So she's talking about how she purposely pinched her dog so hard, like to get it to react to her, was trying to hurt the dog, and then her dog like came back and reacted very quickly, as an animal would, or as a human would too, if someone's pinching you. And she had stitches, like she had to get stitches in her face because the dog bit her, and then they ended up having to put the dog down because it bit her. And she's like laughing about it, and she's like admitting that like she did it on purpose. And so basic people are saying like, oh, so she killed a dog. She didn't necessarily kill a dog, but her absolutely like sociopathic, I mean, I'm not a doctor, not to diagnose anyone, antisocial, I guess, actions really led to that. Like she caused it. Like if she wouldn't have directly done that, then it's like the difference between homicide and manslaughter, or murder and manslaughter. This video is probably going to be demonetized because I just said that out loud. Anyway.
I used to like actually like rip things up or get angry. So I grabbed my dog for no reason, just grabbed the dog and pinched its skin and dug my nails into it. The dog yelps, turns around to protect itself, and bites me in the face. And I got stitches and went to the hospital. And they were like, what happened? And I was like, the dog just bit me. And then they had to put the dog to sleep because the dog was dangerous to be around. So I murdered a dog.
Now to discuss the just gross, like, sexualization of her clearly underage, like clearly teenage audience on stage. So in this first clip, it is comparing what these girls are wearing to PORN.
It's porn. This is 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 porn.
Hi, okay, my name is Becky. I'm the girl in this video, and this video has over 1 million views, and that is a lot of people to be seeing this story without hearing it from me, so I want to explain this. So I was a fan of Colleen and all the Ballinger family for a very, very long time, and I think in this video I was about 16. If you've never been to a Miranda show, Colleen frequently has segments where she calls people up on stage. One of those segments was the porn bit, which I'm not really going to be explaining in this video, but that's why I was kind of trying to dress skimpy so that I would be called up on stage and basically get degraded by Miranda. But I did not get called up for that. I got called up for the yoga challenge. Now, as soon as I stood up from the audience, I saw Colleen's eyes widen because she realized I was not wearing pants. But for some reason, that didn't stop her from continuing. In fact, no adult at any point stepped in this situation. So we get to the point in the yoga challenge where I am laying down and Colleen is spreading my legs basically as far as she can. She spreads them so far that you can see the spandex I was wearing under my romper, which thank God I was wearing. Now, the original video posted by Xandar, I'm sorry if I pronounced her name wrong, is only a screenshot, but there is a whole video of this. But that screenshot is the most important because that is the moment I will never forget, where I was laying under Colleen and she was smirking down at me while thousands of people were laughing, and I was terrified that my body wasn't covered up enough by the spandex or the romper. I basically felt naked, so it felt incredibly sexually violating. I was younger and my body was still developing and I was still becoming comfortable with myself, so for her to use my body as entertainment on stage really set my confidence back quite a lot. And not to mention, after all this, after the show, I had to walk back to my car where there was many men staring at me in a very predatorial way that they were not looking at me before because of how exposed I had been on stage. So I literally did not feel safe leaving the venue. And I'm not saying this was sexual assault, although people are debating that in that comment section, but as someone who has been sexually assaulted, this situation gave me that same feeling where it feels like you need to purge and like clean out your insides, you know, just that nasty, gross feeling. There's a couple comments on Xandar's video being like, oh, she signed up for that, why is this such a big deal, blah blah blah. Colleen exploited my minor body for entertainment and money and did not protect my safety at this show. As an outsider looking into this situation, it may seem like this wasn't a big deal, but this was really pretty scary for my teenage self, and especially as someone who loved and looked up to Colleen. And I could never say anything because everybody loved her. But this is who she really is. She uses kids for her own gain. I was a minor, and again, she did not protect me. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about taking your kids to a Miranda show, I would advise you to think twice because you may come back with years of trauma, and I don't wish that on anyone.
Oh, I see your head. Ready? Camille. All right. Sing. Oh, I'm so pregnant. Oh, how are you doing, dear sister-in-law? I'm so excited for you to give birth to this baby. I love little girls. Oh, do you need a poo massage?
No, it's not a poo, it's a baby. Oh, I'm so pregnant. I just know it. I am.
Well, let's get you to the hospital. Brenda, get out the car. Oh, I'm the nurse. I've come to get this baby out from you. Just push from your tookie really hard. And breathe across breathing like this. Oh, you smell fertile. If it smells fertile, that's what they say. Now push. Romantic. Oh, we're getting close and personal. Oh, but I'm so hungry, James. Hold on, I got a snack.
Was this in your self-help book?
Was this in my self-help book?
Was it? Because I brought self-help with me and I was just wondering.
Well, shouldn't you know if you've read it? I'm just kidding, James. I'm just kidding. I love you. I'm just kidding. Do you want a cheese ball?
I'd love one. I can't believe I'm reaching in there right now.
Now that's obviously uncomfortable. I mean, that's saying that someone looks like that word, like schmorn, and then looks like they are in it or they embody it. So that's inappropriate. You can say, oh, it's not that deep, whatever, but it is. It's pretty cut and dry. You can say it's a joke. Where's the punchline? It's not funny. And something can be a joke, but still be inappropriate. And I am definitely someone who isn't, highly sensitive when it comes to like actual comedy. I don't see what she does as comedy. I just see it as embarrassing, I guess. And then also for all of these instances, we can say, oh, well, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were volunteering for. These kids were volunteering for it, which is just another way of saying they were asking for it. It also doesn't make it right still. And another aspect of all of this is they are children. They are literal children. You know how many dumb things I did, and you probably did too, in middle school and high school because I didn't know better, or things that I look back on now and I'm like, oh God, why did I do that? Like I could have really gotten hurt, or like that was a really inappropriate situation. I should not have done that. I shouldn't have been around that. And it's just real gross to me that this entire time, it's not like Colleen is, not that like lessening the age gap makes it less weird and gross, but the wider the age gap does make it more inappropriate in my mind. So throughout all of this, I mean, she's in her, mid 20s when all this started, when she started the Miranda Sings character, I believe, like when it started getting really popular and she started doing shows in 2014. So, and she's in her late, so it's not like she's in her mid 20s, and not to ever bring up James Charles. And I mean, honestly, she makes him not look that horrible due to all this. That's pretty bad. That's how you know you've messed up. He's still awful. He's a garbage human. But with him, it's like, oh, he's like on like the age gap there, he's still in his, he's younger than 25 or something like that, right? Like, oh, his brain's not fully developed. We can use that excuse. And like, no, but okay. But with Colleen, she's in her late 20s is when all this starts. And then she is well into her 30s. She's 36 now. And even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, she had a group chat with minors, people who were 15 years younger than her, more than that actually, and was sending like sexually explicit messages to them, pictures to them, sending PORN to them, Trisha Paytas's PORN. So one, that's illegal. Don't do that. Can't do that. That's an explicit act. That'll get you on a registry. What are you doing, Colleen? And if you want to know more about the actual like group chat and everything that they were in and how all of that played out, please go watch Adam McIntyre's videos about all of this. I'll have his channel linked down below, but he really just blew the top off all this and exposed all this. And thank God people actually like are coming out as well in support of him, because he tried to expose all of this back when it first, like his involvement with it and her gaslighting him and bullying him and harassing him and all that first started a few years ago. I want to say like 4 years ago. And back then, like no one believed him. And it's just so awful. And so I'm so happy that people are believing him and other people are coming out now and sharing their truth as well and their experience of what happened with Colleen Ballinger and their experience with her. There has been a lot of people coming out and not even just exposing like their interactions with her that were inappropriate, but also with her family too. So and her ex-husband as well. So there's one person who had like a relationship, friendly and professional, and inappropriate due to the age gap with with Colleen and her ex-husband, Josh. And this guy's name is Johnny, and I'll put up his Twitter right now, but he has just been going off and sharing so much information. It is crazy, absolutely crazy at how like inappropriate all of this is. And he actually worked on their tour and they hardly paid him for his 12-hour days. And I really do think that it's a trend with these people, not just, Colleen, but her ex-husband as well, maybe her new husband, who knows, but with how they conduct business. And it's wild because it's like, you have so much money. Why would you not just hire actual people and professionals to, run your accounts for you and, do PR for you and run your tour for you? But if you see clips from her tour, you will understand how like low budget it is. It's insane. She's making so much money from it. But they really do have a habit, it seems, of having their young fandom like work for them. And Johnny at the time was a minor and very impressionable and, you know, was a huge fan of them. And these stands, if you will, her fandom will, you know, work for her essentially for free just to have like the chance to talk to her or have a relationship with her. And in my opinion, she 100% exploits that so that she doesn't have to pay and so that she can keep emotionally and mentally manipulating them. And a lot of people have said, well, oh, it's not grooming because, you know, nothing, like she's not looking for like a sexual relationship with them, but she's still exploiting them and taking advantage of them. So yes, in a way it is still grooming, even if there isn't that end goal of like a sexual relationship with these stands that she has. And like I already just said, I don't think that that's what she wanted, but I think it's more of like the attention and like the power play aspect of it and being able to have control over these people to where they will like do anything for you. And maybe she just doesn't have actual friends. Maybe she's been in this type of industry for so long she just doesn't have friends, and she wanted her fans to become her friends and then work for her for free. And that's what happened with Adam McIntyre. And again, please go watch his videos on it. He exposes so much crazy information, and I think it's really important for people to hear his actual side of everything, aka the truth. And so she had him working for him for free and like giving her like all these content ideas and even like running her social media basically for a few years. And like I said, he was doing it for free and he was like so excited to have like the opportunity and whatever. And then as Adam explains in his video, she gave him approval to post a tweet that was a joke about Miranda Sings coming out, or just coming out was basically the clickbait. And then it was coming out as like a Meghan Trainor fan. So it was just a troll. It was just a troll of a joke. I don't think it's funny, but Adam was literally a child. So of course he thought it was funny. And then so Colleen started to freak out, kind of like blame it on Adam, saying, because she did approve it. It doesn't seem like she really understood the joke, which a lot of people didn't, I guess, but she did approve the joke and even went further and gave him the Miranda Sings account information, like the password and login on all that stuff. And he was even, you know, tracking it, and he was like, okay, well, you know, I understand like you're nervous because like you think you're getting canceled or whatever for this, but you know, the engagement's up and it's, you know, working and like the insights and all that. And it's like real smart kid to even like check in on all that stuff. The thing I do find interesting is that Miranda was like, I don't have thick skin. Like, I'm just like, you know, I'm just super sensitive to like all this and like the reaction. And it's like, what do you mean you don't have thick skin? Like you're literally famous. Like, and you've been famous at this point for a while. You've had a huge following on YouTube. Like, how do you not have thick skin already? I only have 100,000 subscribers and I got pretty thick ass skin. But I do think that was just her way of like manipulating him and trying to make him feel bad. And then she went further and tried to start saying, basically canceling Adam and saying that he was trying to take her down and like ruin her career like from the inside, and like that she was set up by him, not taking any of the accountability or whatever. Also, I don't like that joke isn't, to me at least, as a bisexual woman, that's come on. One, it's not even a funny joke, but it's clearly a troll. Who cares? But of course it's the internet and it's Twitter, so everyone gets really upset about every little thing. But that is not the main point here. My main point is that she really just started like a hate campaign, it seems, against Adam and tried to discredit him completely, and it was absolutely insane. She came out with a apology video that, in my opinion, went like under the radar, but was really worse than the like Laura Lee apology video. Like, as apology videos go for YouTubers, I'd say it's one of the worst ones. Obviously hindsight's 2020, but like absolutely one of the worst ones. I don't know how at this point she has any fans whatsoever. I'm honestly really excited to see the comments on this video. I know that a lot of people are going to agree with me, like, yeah, things that she was doing and saying were extremely inappropriate, and then even like her brother too. The entire family really has, it seems like they just kind of breed a culture within their family where like a lot of inappropriate behaviors have happened and they like kind of laugh it off. And there's a difference between having like dark humor and like tumor humor, as I call it. And you know, that's, my family's definitely like all about like the dark humor, like making fun of everything. You won't catch us talking to minors though. Now let's get into some of the absolutely weird messages that she has sent her group chats, her weenies, as she calls them, which was like some of her like elite fandom, basically. For instance, this one from Adam, actually, he said that someone else like leaked them though, which I'm sure is feels pretty validating for him, which is good. But he had put in the little weenies group and said, "My ass looks so good today, y'all." And then Colleen was asking for pictures of his butt. So, you know, asking someone who's 15 years younger than you for pictures of your butt, super appropriate. And then this one I felt really gross about. She was asking them, "Tell me all the thoughts you had when you first got your periods." And then she gave an example. That's gross. It's not like your big sister or like your big cousin or something telling you something like this. Like, that would be different, obviously. It's someone who you have a parasocial relationship with, who you've never met in person. Apparently she has met some of them in person though, which is even more horrifying. But people who just want to be friends with you and will probably do anything possible to just be friends with you and will push back those gut feelings of, this doesn't feel right, to be able to keep being friends with you because you're famous. And I think it's really that power dynamic aspect of it that adds to the level of how absolutely inappropriate this is. And then I found this one on Twitter as well from Oliver, or Ollie, if you will. And it says, "Thread of things Trent Ballinger, a man in his 30s, sent to me when I was 13 or 14 years old." And Trent Ballinger is Miranda's brother, and this is horrifying. Now the conversations start out and it says, "Okay, just don't share a conversation with anyone. Anything we talk about stays between you and I. And keep in mind, anyone only knows who Trent Ballinger is because he is in Colleen's videos." So obviously for a 13 to 14-year-old Miranda Sings fan or Colleen Ballinger fan, that's got to be so exciting to, you know, be able to talk to her brother. And the person said, "Oh, okay, don't worry." He said, "Thanks." And they said, "I wish I would have known how wrong it was at the time." And that's a huge aspect of all of this, where people are saying or trying to justify, which I feel like this type of argument is a very childish argument. So if you have this argument, please say how old you are. If you're going to leave a comment in support of Colleen Ballinger, please leave your age. Please leave your age so that we can just, you know, run a little test here. And then it says that Trent was saying, "I'm told I'm not supposed to talk to people under 18, so he knew it was wrong. And he said, "I do so just to spread positivity." No, you're all boned up for the underage kids, buddy. And he said, "So yeah, you can spread positivity publicly. You don't have to go in DMs." Just sounds like you're trying to spread something else. And they said, "Oh, I don't see anything wrong with talking to people under 18 who said that. You really do spread positivity and I love it." And he said family. So specifically his family has said, don't talk to anyone under 18. So they've like had that conversation, which in my mind just shows like they know that that is wrong and they keep doing it, or something had to have happened to where it even had to be a conversation. And then they said he knew my age, and he said, "You don't look bi." So I'm like in head tilts. You don't look bi? We're not a species of animal. What do you mean she don't look like it, or they don't look like it? And they said, "Oh, I don't. Well, I think I am, but yeah, why do you think you are?" "I don't know. I just don't think I'm straight, I guess." He said, "Just be honest with yourself. You're young. Don't have to label yourself yet. You don't have to label yourself at any time." And they said, "You're very right. Yeah, I guess I don't really want to completely label myself yet. Just the closest thing I am is being bi." And now if you are just listening, which I know a lot of people do, if you are just listening, go ahead and look at the screen because I don't want to have to read all of this. But as you can tell, they continue to conversate. He just continues to discuss this person's sexuality, and he asks how old they are, and they specifically say 13. So he knows how old they are. And then he starts calling them Peapod. And then he says, "Good night, don't let the sexuality bite," which is super, super appropriate. And then it just continues with the like subtle flirting, and it's just very strange. "You should come to the show." And then my mom said that I can't come to California. Why not? Maybe because she's 13. Because she doesn't really like California. I don't know why. Blah, blah, blah. What's wrong with Cali? My mom really hates traffic. So Colleen's brother is now asking children children, and obviously this happened a long time ago, but asking children who lived across the country to come to one of their shows so that he could see them. When I'm an adult, I'll fly to California by myself. How long do you have to go? Well, the earliest would be 2023. I'll be 18, but it might just have to be 2024 or sadly later. So in this one, he is counting down the years to where he gets to see this person because that's when they'll be 18. This is just cut and dry grooming, and it's just really gross. And then he kept sending them these pictures. He kept sending them like this picture of themselves and then another one as well. And then saying that they kind of looked like their last girlfriend in a GIF or a picture or whatever. So that's really unfortunate. I will have this thread linked down below because it's just so crazy. Now, again, this was back in 2018. Time passing doesn't make something right, obviously, and I hope that he has directly, Colleen too, have directly apologized to this person. I doubt they have, but I don't know if she has apologized for his creepy behavior or if he has apologized or taken accountability or anything like that. But again, an apology and stuff like that doesn't erase what has happened, especially if the actions to continue. And I mean, her jokes in her shows, I really think just show that she still thinks this type of stuff is funny and acceptable when clearly it's not. And then also her lack of accountability with the whole Adam McIntyre situation previously too, is also not okay. So I don't think that there has been any growth there. I think there's been regret there and maybe some shame and guilt that, you know, you got caught, you got. But I don't think that there has actually been like any true accountability or remorse rather for her actions. From what I've seen, she does, you know, perpetuate the mean girl vibes, and I've been called a mean girl my entire time on YouTube. People are idiots. People will see an attractive, assertive female and think that, you know, that equals sensitive, insecure people. Will take that as you being mean, but that's not, there's a clear difference between that than like Colleen being called out for by other people in the industry too as a mean girl and someone who has like constantly like trashed other people. For instance, she has been called out for calling Trisha Paytas, someone who she has a podcast with now, calling her a whale and like sending out explicit videos and pictures of Trisha Paytas to minors, and then also just in social media in general. And it's just not like that's not right.
Colleen is the best because she needs 10 of these fans. She is the most hateful, shadiest. I love her. Like, whenever we hang out, literally the first words out of her mouth are, okay, like, what do you got? Who do you hate? Who's next?
It was. So for them to be like, oh, his bad tweets. Yeah, we would bully the shit out of people. We used to bully Josh. We used to bully their ex-friends. We used to bully people within the fandom. Me included, like me doing the stuff. There was a girl that had a Colleen Ballinger tattoo. Her name was Alice. Me and Colleen would make fun of her all the time. It was like I was this like fucking breed of like close-knit fandom that she had. All we did was bully people. That's what she is. Luckily, by the age of fucking 16, I was out of it.
I feel like all I'm gonna get done in this video is my hair. So I think this is a great example of someone that people knew maybe wasn't like the best type of person, and maybe someone who thought that they could like elude accountability even though they were called out previously. And I think she thought she was in the clear after what happened with Adam, but now more things coming out, and I'm so thankful for that Adam now, from what I have seen, and I hope, and I truly hope that he does feel, you know, vindicated and validated. Obviously, it's something really hard to go through. But Colleen Ballinger's actions are disgusting and not right. I think she's unfunny, and there are like so many red flags that no one in their right mind could ignore them. But this is what happens when your fandom is literal children. They don't care about that. They ignore red flags. Children they do not even see the color red. They are wearing rose-colored glasses all the time. It's rose-colored contact lenses at that point. I would be very interested to hear in the comments below if you were a Colleen Ballinger fan, if you still are, how and why, and do you think she's funny? If you do think she's funny, what's some other like content that you think is funny? Because I just, like, Matt Rife is funny. He's funny. The Basement Yard podcast is funny. Trixie and Katya are funny. Like, that's my type of comedy. Mike Birbiglia, that's my favorite comedian. Absolutely the best. Absolutely the best and the funniest around. But I'm sorry, I don't think that having a character where you are doing a parody of someone with a disability, I don't think that's funny. Purposely antagonizing your dog so that they bite you and then your actions cause them to be put down, that's not funny. Spreading minors' legs open on stage, that's definitely not funny. Having children reach into your pants on stage, that's not funny. Asking teenagers, minors, about their first periods, for them to send you butt pictures, for them to Photoshop their face or your face over explicit material, that's not funny. That's creepy. This woman is a creep, and I don't know how she could possibly get out of this or make any type of statement, because nothing justifies what she's done. It's so weird and creepy and wrong. Also though, allegedly on their tour right now, shows have been getting canceled by, I guess not by the venues themselves, but by Live Nation. But then apparently I saw someone saying that they're selling like canceled merch and like making fun of like YouTube apology videos or something like that, which again, that's alleged, but that's not the way to handle this. There have been certain news outlets that have come out and said that she's losing sponsorships like left and right, which is great in my opinion. Do be careful if you are trying to push for someone to lose their sponsorships. Content creators, public figures, whoever, like could, if what you're saying is false, they could come after you, and that would be tortoise interference, contract interference, to where you are like actively and directly making them lose out on revenue, and then that would be libel of a public figure. So be careful with that. Obviously, if what you're saying is true, then like it doesn't matter. Truth always outweighs defamation. Or rather, the truth always beats defamation every single time. And when there's this many receipts, this many facts, and yes, a lot of this is anecdotal evidence, but like that's pretty damning anecdotal evidence. Also, of course, TMZ posted about it and did an article or whatever, or a video, and said that she's being canceled for a fart prank, or like that was on stage. And it's like, y'all are missing, y'all got it wrong. You missed it. They probably just said that for the headline instead of like for grooming allegations. So they should probably look into that more and maybe take it a little bit more seriously, because it's not just a fart prank. Anyways, I hope I'm able to get this video up pretty soon. I might be able to get it up tonight, which is Saturday, June 17th, or it might go up on Monday. I mean, I would say, oh, there might not be, you know, an update, or there might be. I doubt she's gonna give any type of statement at this point. But either way, I want to hear your thoughts, your comments, all that down below. Remember to stay spicy, which means be assertive, keep those boundaries up, be yourself, love yourself, be self-aware, don't be a dick, okay? I know it means a lot of things, but be spicy, stay spicy. That's what we do here. And like and comment and subscribe if you feel so inclined to. I would be happy to have you be here as part of our couch people. Wiggum is our leader. That's what happens. He's our upline. And if there's any other type of scammy or unethical content that you want me to cover, then definitely leave it in the comments below and let me know. But I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.